Henry,
Yeah.
aren't you
Yeah.
aren't you fucking spooked?
Can play hide and clap in the light. Hide and clap.
I'm not talking about the movie, man. I'm talking
Talking about
about
the month.
October, the spookiest month of the year.
Brrr. Feel that shiver, folks? That's Shocktober. That's right. It's our fifth Shocktober together. Our
That's
fifth.
wild stuff, Henry. Now, before we start this week, I just want to deliver an earnest message, of course. Like everybody should be, I just want to wish President Trump a speedy death, and that's all I'll say on the subject.
Yes. I share Dan's sentiments. However, I diverge in one aspect. Just a slight aspect. I hope he has a long and painful COVID related death. Yeah, just want to wish that. But that'll be that on that.
If you're a
Yeah.
Republican, you're very stupid. Turn off the show, and we'll talk to the regular people.
I would like to think that they turned us out quite a long time
I
ago.
hope so.
At this point, yeah,
Henry,
yeah.
let's talk about The Conjuring. That's what we're doing. It's October, the spookiest month of the year. Let's spook out, baby, and talk about ghosts and ghouls.
That's right. It's episode 226 of the franchise.
Oh my god, that's one of Satan's numbers!
I think it is. It's 226. It was next door to 227. And there were some Satanists who live on that
I
block.
believe it would be across the street.
That's a great point. That's a great point on addresses and how they work.
Yeah. That's Jack Hayes' across the street neighbor,
Yeah,
226.
I always wondered about those people in 226. There's a little shady
Holy
stuff.
shit, man.
The haunted brownstone.
What was going on there, do you think?
I don't know. Maybe some Ed and Lorraine Warren gadgetry happening over
Maybe
there.
like
I don't know.
I think like David Berkowitz lived there.
Yeah, well, he would have been in jail at that point, but maybe he was haunted by his presence.
Or his dog.
That's right. Son of Sam's dog could have been in that brownstone. Where were they in 227? Brooklyn?
I think so. Hey, speaking of Spike Lee, I want to say R.I.P. this week to the great Thomas Jefferson Bird, a wonderful New York-based actor who was in almost exclusively Spike Lee films.
Oh, I don't know him by name.
You'd know him. He has a big role in Get on the Bus. You're fond of that movie.
I love that movie.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, all right. R.I.P.
Yeah. Henry, you'll never guess what's happening right now.
What's going on?
What time is it? What time would you say it is for some creature to decide to emerge?
I'm gonna say this is Opa time. It's Opa time.
This fucking dog will.
I'm gonna call it Opa.
I mean, this motherfucker thinks he could just like go to the door whenever he fucking feels like it.
Yeah, that's what they do, man. They have carte blanche to order us around. That's what they kind of just delve into and manipulate. They're manipulators.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
Angela Lansbury in The Manchurian Candidate.
Oh, wow. Holy fucking, you must have rewatched something.
I'm in the middle of it right now.
Jesus Christ. Yeah.
Henry,
yeah.
let's talk about another old lady, Vera Farmiga, and her film, The Conjuring. What? Why are you laughing?
Yeah, you called her old lady. Wow.
It must be tough to look like your younger sister's great-grandmother.
I got a confession. Ever since I first saw her, would have been 14 years ago. I don't think I'd ever seen her till I saw her in The Departed. I'm not like the biggest fan of hers. I think she's like a good actress, but she doesn't really ever do it for me. I don't know what your thoughts on her are. I know Patrick Wilson will probably bear the brunt of your hatred this week, but
Who?
the guy who was the Night Owl.
Wait, Ron Livingston?
No, there's the guy who played the father in The Conjuring. I mean, not the father, the psychic demonologist. He's an actor named Patrick Wilson.
Wait, there was another adult man in this movie besides Ron Livingston?
Played by the guy who played Night Owl.
Oh,
Yeah.
from the Watchmen
Yeah, you
comic
don't
book.
remember him, huh?
I don't remember them including that character in the movie.
Oh, you see him in the one of the closet sequences in the basement. Night Owl's lurking around down there.
Boy,
Well, you missed it.
I'm looking up Farmiga. What was the first time I ever encountered her, Henry?
Huh?
Probably this movie, Return to Paradise, where it was one of that spate of movies in the late 90s where
I
people
saw
were
it.
getting taken by Asian prisons.
What spate of movies? The fucking Claire Danes thing too.
Yup, Broke Down Palace, not to mention Richard Gere's Red Corner.
Yeah,
We were terrified of Asian prisons in the late 90s.
very odd. In the 70s, we were terrified of Turkish prisons, and the 80s probably Russian prisons, and guess we just moved over to Asia.
Yeah,
China.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think one of them was Thailand, but the other two might have been China.
Red Corner's China.
Oh, for sure, because Richard Gere fucking hates the Chinese.
Yep. Because he's got that whole relationship, quote unquote, with the Dalai Lama.
Yeah, he's pals with the Dalai Lama like Keith Raniere.
That's right. Yeah, I guess no, I didn't see. That's Vince Vaughn. I don't think I saw Return to Paradise. I don't think I did. If I did, I don't remember Vera Farmiga at all.
Oh, yeah, she played a Russian in 15 minutes.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Wow. Okay. Totally have seen her, but
Yeah. Now, the fun thing about 15 minutes, Henry, is you tune into that, you're like, oh my God, it's a Robert De Niro movie from 2001. Am I going to sit through this? And then you decide, all right, I guess I will, right? And then you make it like an hour into the movie and they kill off Robert De Niro, and then it's just a fucking Ed Burns movie the rest of the
I
time.
remember that. I saw that movie. You're right.
Holy shit, dude. What a bait and switch. It's like, here's a shitty movie. Enjoy this shitty movie. And then, like, halfway through, they pull the rug out from under you. It's not just shitty. It's unwatchable.
Right. 15 minutes. Yeah, you don't want to take out Bobby De Niro's if your backup is Edward the Sideburn Burns.
Hey, Farmiga is in the Manchurian Candidate remake, the Demi thing.
That's a bad movie.
Is it bad? I'm going to rewatch it at some point.
I saw it.
I remember it being boring, but not bad.
Well, they kind of went hand in hand for me.
I guess.
I rented that from the Bronx Blockbuster.
I feel like everyone discovered Farmiga, though, with that,
Departed.
Up in the Air.
Oh, that's 3 years after.
Yeah, but I don't even remember her being in The Departed, but then she was, like, nominated for Oscar and shit.
Right, but I really remember her in The Departed, just because I was like, "Who's this woman? She's odd looking. She's got strange eyes. What's going on there?" I never thought of her like you did, looking like a grandmother. But
I go up and down with Vera Farmiga. I do think she's a talented actress, and I think she can be very natural in the moment. But she's a real force of personality, and sometimes it's like she like devours the screen out from under everybody else. She's not a very giving actress.
Interesting. Very criticky of you.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean,
actually, very actory of you. That's what actors always say.
Yeah.
He's very giving on screen. He's very giving. We'll get into it, but I know you have a visceral hatred. I don't know that it goes as deep as like a JGL hatred or a Zach. What's his face? Who we make fun of a lot.
Wait, you're talking about Patrick Wilson? I don't hate Patrick Wilson.
Okay, yeah, because I think he's quite good in this movie.
Actually. I think Patrick Wilson certainly can act, and I've enjoyed him and stuff. My favorite performance by him was in a featured guest star role on Lena Dunham's Girls, which I enjoyed very much. He boned Lena Dunham in that episode quite a bit.
Okay, yeah.
And but I just think he's a fucking nothing burger, dude. He's got no face. You know, I remember the first time I ever saw Patrick Wilson was Little Children. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, Little Children was based on a Tom Perrotta novel that I had read. He's my favorite modern novelist.
Yeah.
And when I read the book originally, I pictured Peter Krause in that role.
Oh, sure. I could see that. Wow.
Okay, so it was around the time of 6 Feet Under, and I was picturing Krause, and then they released Little Children, and I was like, how interesting that Peter Krause. It seems like Hollywood has decided this man is a television actor.
Yeah, I know. Not fair though.
You are not permitted on the big screen.
It's not
I mean,
fair.
nobody is ever again.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, even in the days when like movies would be released in these, remember the before times there were these things called movie establishments, and you'd go and you'd watch they'd have a cartoon and maybe a newsreel.
Oh yeah, right during World War II. Yes, yes. Always let us know what's going on.
Yeah, yeah. Even back then, they'd never let Krause up on the screen.
Not fair. Not fair. I don't like it.
Yeah,
I don't like it.
So when that movie came out, I was blown away. It was like they did all this searching to discover like a young new actor, and it's like in the cast description they must have written Peter Krause but no charisma.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think he's very good in Little Children. I mean, I think because I didn't know who this is the first thing I ever saw him in, probably helped because I was like, oh, this is interesting. They got this just kind of good looking guy to just be in this like stylized hunky role. And I thought he was pretty good. I'm looking at Letterboxd. I've seen this fucking guy in 17 movies.
Yeah, he's in a lot of stuff, man. And you don't remember he's in a lot of stuff because he doesn't show up on screen. He's like a vampire.
I saw him in all the, obviously in the Conjuring stuff. I also remember him in Hard Candy, Ellen Page.
How about the deeply underrated Neil LaBute film Lakeview Terrace?
Superb. Bone Tomahawk. He was in that too.
Do you remember him from any of these?
Yeah, vaguely in Bone Tomahawk. Vaguely Bone Tomahawk. Obviously in Lakeview Terrace and Hard Candy. And The Assistant? I don't remember him in The Assistant.
Nor do I. Oh, yeah, he was on season 2 of Fargo. I remember that.
Yeah. But do you remember him in The Assistant?
No.
I don't either. The A-Team? He was in
he was the fucking Ocean Master, bro.
Well, I didn't see that. Yeah.
I am the Ocean Master.
That's a bad role for him, I'd think.
What do you mean? That movie made over $1 billion.
Yeah, but I it's hard for me to see him in some big, huge, over-the-top stentorian villain role. I don't think he fits that mold quite like that.
What do you mean? You don't think that he can play a big character, like a big, fun, memorable character? Patrick Wilson? Not. You don't look at Patrick Wilson and say, here's your iconic villain.
I look at him, I think, there's Thanos.
I mean, Thanos is not the greatest example because, I mean, pretty boring, to be honest.
Play him. No, but he couldn't play it,
Jables played him. All right. Conjuring, let's talk about it. James Wan, the director of Aquaman. He's your director, Henry.
Yeah.
All right. Now, he picked this up from the writers, though. They had the script floating around for many years. Chad and Carrie Hayes. The Hayes Bros.
Yeah, I see that.
Let's see. They had been career shit Hollywood people. They wrote for Baywatch Nights in the 90s, Henry. All right, Baywatch Nights. Now, I want to say that these fellas are responsible for one of my favorite films of all time. What's that? Film that gave me one of my great laughs.
Oh.
A memorable laugh, Henry, from all the way back in 1999. Let me take you back there. It was a Saturday night, and so my sister and I were at home alone, baby. Tearing up the place. And we were watching the Disney Channel. And there was a Disney Channel original movie called Horse Sense, starring Joey Lawrence and his brother Andrew Lawrence. All right, no
Wow.
Matthew Lawrence, no middle Lawrence brother.
I didn't know there was any Lawrence brothers. So
Joey, the top Lawrence, you remember him?
yeah, of course. Full House. Yeah.
No. What? Are
That-
you being serious?
yeah, that's Joey Lawrence, isn't it? Whoa.
Yeah, but that's
Is that
not on.
Saved by the Bell?
It's from neither. It's from Blossom.
Oh, all right. Yeah, I forgot. I thought he was on Full House. Sorry.
You're
Sorry.
thinking of John Stamos.
No, I'm not. I know who Joey Lawrence is. I just thought that whoa thing was from
Whoa.
Full House. Yeah, I thought that was from Full House.
No, it's
okay.
from Blossom.
Blossom. Right. Gotcha. Yeah.
All right. So
Um,
it's him. Matthew Lawrence is the middle brother. He's not in this masterpiece.
Yeah.
All right. He was on Boy Meets World, though.
Point taken.
All right.
All right.
Youngest
Noted.
brother, Andrew Lawrence.
Okay.
All right. Now, in this film,
Mm-hmm.
I got news for you. Andrew Lawrence, he's a real farm boy. Okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
Joey Lawrence, not a real farm boy. He is a city slicker, my friend. So Joey Lawrence goes to visit Andrew Lawrence on this farm. I don't remember why. I think maybe they're long lost brothers or something. Okay?
Sure.
But see, Joey Lawrence, he constantly wants to use his cell phone, but there's bad service on the farm. But there's this one scene I remember that these fellas wrote, the fellas who wrote The Conjuring.
Yeah.
All right? Where Joey Lawrence, they're trying to teach him how to use a tractor. It's not working out. And he falls backwards, Henry. And you would not guess what's behind this guy.
Patrick Wilson.
No, the biggest pile of manure you've ever seen in your life. And Joey Lawrence, he just falls in this pile of shit, and I'm laughing.
Woo. Woo.
Whoa!
He got higher in my impression. Woo.
Maybe if he was like hitting the nuts or something.
Yeah. Manure. Disney Channel.
All
Coincidence?
right, you didn't care about that shit at all, but I mean, that was like a life-changing
No,
movie for me. And
I'm really sorry. No, you're absolutely. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. I should have been more.
You know
sorry.
what? Even when you say like the fucking most boring shit in the world, I act like I'm listening.
I got to tell you the truth. I'm gonna let you know a little secret. You totally don't.
I do all the time.
Oh, so most of the time, what I'm saying is not interesting, and you're acting.
But you know, like I assume other people will think it's interesting because you say like the most boring stuff constantly, and people get back to me and they're like, "That was the best part of the episode." And so I keep you around, Henry, because like you're not to my taste, but the listeners love you.
Yeah. No, I understand. I applaud you for getting through it
Every week, sometimes more than once.
No, I didn't tune out for that. I just sort of forgot why we were talking about Disney, but you brought it back to the Hayes brothers. You kind of threw that in there, maybe subconsciously, so I'd remember why the fuck we were talking about it.
Yeah,
I appreciate.
not subconsciously, consciously, because I'm a very good host.
Yeah.
All right, so in the mid 2000s, these Hayes brothers decide, you know what, we're gonna start doing, writing horror movies.
Good idea.
Yeah, so they wrote the House of Wax remake with Paris Hilton, which is a true masterpiece.
That's fun, that movie.
Yeah.
Sure.
Then they wrote The Reaping. That's got like Hilary Swank's teeth and jaw in it.
I saw
And-
that.
Then-
That's not very good.
Then they wrote Whiteout, Henry, which is Kate Beckinsale.
I
In,
saw that too.
I've seen it too. She's in like Alaska solving a murder.
No, I think it's like Antarctica.
It might be. Yeah, I think you're right. It's like the North Pole or something.
Whiteout.
Yeah.
Jesus, I've seen these guys' films. Okay.
You got to check out Horse Sense, man.
Horse Sense.
Yeah.
Horse Sense. Yeah.
You're just going to grind the show to a halt every time I reference this movie?
I'm repeating the title.
So after that, they wrote The Conjuring, and I mean, they've kind of been shitty since then. They wrote this movie, The Turning, that like everyone fucking hated, dude.
I have not seen that, but I heard about it. Yeah.
You haven't seen that? You've seen, according to Letterboxd today, you watched a horror film called The Tall Guy. I clicked
That
on
was
it thinking
yesterday.
it was a Jeff Goldblum comedy from the late 80s, but it was
Yeah.
not. It was a new horror movie.
That is actually a 2012 movie that I watched yesterday, and the reason I watched it was because I
Oh,
read this.
Jessica Biel's the lead, so it's
Yeah,
got a great performance at its center.
it
Boy,
does.
I'd love to see a romance between Jessica Biel and Patrick Wilson, Henry. You wouldn't be able to keep your eyes on the screen.
Sometimes doing this show is kind of I I feel like I sometimes just feel like a big ear, and that's okay. Like a big canal, like a big ear canal, like an aural vacuum. Yeah, I read an interesting article about that movie from Film School Rejects, which really made me laugh. The author was saying, basically said, I want to talk about a film that all of you bastards shat on when it came out, and most of you don't even know existed, and I think it's great. And it was a really interesting review, and it got me intrigued. And indeed, it was quite an interesting film.
Was the tall man slender as well?
No, it is not really
Is he tall and fat?
it's not really a horror movie. Yeah.
Oh, really? So it's like a real character study of Jessica Biel?
You should do a you know what would be a great order up, my friend?
Yeah?
We have not done this ever. Actors we hate.
Well, someone forced me.
Exclusively.
I did Leo DiCaprio once.
Well, that's true. That was kind of an accident. Like that, like a themed.
Well,
a
who can
themed
we
one.
do? Who can we do? Who do we
It'd be
really
both.
hate?
You and me both, though. We'd have to come up with people we
Yeah, we
mutually
would do
hate.
JGL.
Gad.
Josh Gad. Yeah, you're right. Can we
Yeah.
go a fucking week without mentioning Josh? It's the month of October. Can we leave Josh Gad in our fucking rear views for once?
Once, Joe Rogan.
Joe
I had to
Rogan.
get it in there. I want to get it in there so it goes on our Chiron.
Oh,
We'll
good
get,
call.
get
Yeah,
more
yeah.
more hits.
Should
that
we
way.
rank Joe Rogan? Number 1, News Radio. Number 2, Fear Factor. That's it.
I don't know. As long as you put it in our little blurb, we'll get all of his fans to listen to us for a minute.
Yeah. So these guys wrote the movie. James Wan picks it up to direct.
Yeah.
He decides that he's going to change the name of the movie to the Warren Files.
Yeah. Not
everyone else is like, that's pretty lame.
They whispered it to him just like in the movie?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a very lame title, but I can see what he's going for because this movie is designed as the first part of a franchise, and you can tell.
I didn't think that. Did you see it in well, now of course, but when I saw it in theaters, did you
No.
see it in theaters?
I saw it on your recommendation.
Oh, that's right. You mentioned that last week, which is surprising to me in, well, two ways. One, you took my recommendation, and two, that you wouldn't have been interested in this anyway. For all the hype it got, all the buzz that this movie got, it was quite acclaimed. You weren't interested at all. You weren't going to see it.
All the buzz it got. That's a funny thing you could say about like Friday the 13th, Henry. The movie got a lot of buzz.
Oh, very.
Or maybe Sweeney Todd.
Good.
That got
pun.
a lot of buzz.
Good pun.
Thanks,
Good
bro.
pun.
What were we talking about? I don't know what I'm doing.
I asked you a question. I was curious as to why you wouldn't have seen this movie in theater. I mean, you weren't really in the theater. No, you were still going to theaters, I think, in 2013.
Nah, not really. 2013 was a pretty low going theater year. And,
Right.
I mean, it's a 2-hour fucking horror movie with Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga. Like, I turned this baby down.
Yeah.
And, I'm not the biggest Saw guy in the world either. Like, this was, like, touted as, like, hey, it's the guy that did Saw and Insidious. And I'm like, I don't care.
Right.
I've never seen Insidious.
I did, yeah. I actually just saw this movie, I think just based sort of on the trailer. That's all. It just looked cool. So I saw it. That's about pretty rare that I'll do that, but it looked cool. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about this Wan fella.
Sure.
He came up with Saw. That was his big movie, Henry.
Yeah. It's a great movie.
Then he followed that up 3 years later with twin releases with similar titles, Dead Silence and Death Sentence. Everyone ignored them because they couldn't tell them apart. Maybe that was just me.
I saw them both, and I liked them both. Dead Silence
I'm
is good
sure they're
trash.
fine if you see
Yeah,
them, but who's seeing these?
me.
There's
Yeah.
a two. It's 2007. There will be Bloods in theaters, and this guy's like, "Do you want to see a Kevin Bacon vigilante movie?"
That's a fair point. But I don't remember Death Sentence at all. I mean, I remember the movie, but I saw it years later, like on DVD. Dead Silence, I recall knowing about when
No,
it was out.
I knew about both of these and thinking it was weird that the Saw guy was releasing two movies in the same year.
It is weird. Yeah, it is weird.
Then
Um,
Insidious was the return to form, Henry, and then The Conjuring really pushed him into the stratosphere.
yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah, he took. I guess the Dead Silence year, the DSs are
That
with.
honestly, like, if Insidious was a failure, he probably was in director's jail after that.
Maybe directors jail are just desperately gonna cling to like Saw, and just try to
He
get as
could have come
much.
back to do a
Yeah,
Saw sequel. You're right.
yeah, yeah. Just stick with that. But yeah, you're right. This then all of a sudden after this, it was off and running.
Yep. He listen. He got the job to direct a Fast and Furious movie. The worst thing that could happen to you happens to him. Like, he's making his first big budget action summer blockbuster. Your lead actor dies.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah. And this guy's able to rescue it, make it the biggest Fast and Furious movie ever with the best reviews. Furious fucking 7. And now this guy has carte blanche. He could do whatever the fuck he wants. He does
Yeah,
Conjuring 2. He puts MacGyver back on television, Henry. He makes an Aquaman film.
yeah.
He is all over the place.
He's a powerful man now.
He truly is, and he's producing quite a lot as well.
Yeah, I notice his name on a lot of stuff.
Well, he gets producer credits on every Saw movie, my friend, and every Conjuring universe movie.
Yeah,
So, I
yeah,
mean, he's in the money.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. He's a wealthy individual.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. Very. There was a
Fat
joke I
Stack
was almost
Swan.
gonna make, but yeah. What?
I called him Fat Stack Swan.
Fat Stack Swan?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, sure. WAN. For a second, I thought you were making like a Mexican pun or something, like JUAN. Fat Stacks Juan.
His name is James Wan.
Yeah, I got it now. I didn't make the connection.
Okay. Henry, this film was released right in the heart of summer, July 19th, 2013, on a
Two
budget
days.
of. Go ahead. 2 days before your
No.
birthday, you're going to say?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That is
It's
true.
important to say.
Budget of $20 million
Ugh,
and a big BO of Boffo BO, Henry.
big time.
$319.5 million. Came in at number 19 at the box office for 2013. Right there between Baz Luhrmann's The Great Gatsby, old sport,
Mm,
and that Melissa McCarthy, Identity Thief.
okay. Yes.
Remember
Yes.
that
Yes. Yes.
one?
Yes. I do. I saw. Is that with Jason Bateman?
Yeah, it is. How many Melissa McCarthy movies can you name off the top of your head? Go.
Oh man. Bridesmaids, The Heat, Identity Thief, Spot, The Spy.
Just five, but yeah. All right, so those are the ones everyone remembers. Now try and go for a deeper cut.
All right. There's that other one she did with just a name in it.
Oh yeah,
Ghost, yeah, yeah. Ghostbusters, of course.
sure.
There's another one that was right on the heels of Identity Thief, I think. And I don't remember what it was. A comedy thing. I don't remember.
All right,
Uh,
I can remember The Boss.
I don't remember that.
Then there was Tammy. That's the one you were trying to
Tammy.
think of.
Tammy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, that's it. Is that all of her movies?
Yeah, I don't know. I saw
She just
about
makes a
20.
lot of these movies where she's like falling. What's that one where she goes to college with her daughter? Remember that one?
I vaguely, but yeah, I think that was a ninth American Pie movie.
No, it was not related. We would have covered it. All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Anyway, this film was nominated for some awards.
Yeah. Can I lead with this, and then you'll tell us?
Whatever you want.
All right. I think that it might go better that way.
Saturn is between Uranus and Neptune. Saturn, whoa, sci-fi best of films.
Yeah. So it did not. It only was nominated for one thing, which kind of blew me away. I thought maybe Farmiga or something would get an acting nom, or like James Wan would be nominated, but no, it was pretty under the radar. It was only nominated for best horror film, but it won.
Okay, okay. Well, that's fair. I'm not. I wonder what it was facing.
It's a great question, Henry.
Yeah, we'll find
Well,
out.
I can tell you one thing. Could you play the People's Choice theme?
I think I can. I think I can right now.
The people make the choice. It's up to the people. It chooses they see fit. Fitbit choosing the People's Choice Awards. It's the choice awards to the people.
The end of that is so good.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
here, if I may, it was nominated for favorite horror film at the People's Choice Awards, and it lost to the remake of Carrie.
Jesus Christ. Well, Fitbit choosing the people.
That's what the
Yeah.
people wanted that year. Chloe
Wow.
Grace Moretz covered in blood.
Yeah. I saw it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I have to
I
say
didn't.
about
I didn't bother. Why was it
I
any
don't know
good?
why I watched it. No, I don't know why I watched it. It was on TV or some shit. I have to say about that song. I think that's one of my nobler songs. It's got sort of an air
What the
of
fuck are you
royalty.
talking about?
The People's Choice Awards theme. I feel like it's got sort of a nobility to it. You know, it's very, it kind of gets you, like right in the gut. You know, you didn't get that.
Write in and let me know if you have any idea what the fuck Henry's talking about right now.
I,
The
I
franchise pod at gmail.com.
I think they do.
All right.
I think they do.
This was also nominated for one MTV Movie Award.
Okay, it's been a while.
Been a while.
I want my MTV.
Now, Vera Farmiga was nominated in a category that they refer to as the best scared as shit performance. And this is basically
did
just,
not.
I swear to God, and it's just best performance in a horror film, basically.
Okay.
All right. And Vera Farmiga lost to Brad Pitt for World War Z,
Okay.
my favorite horror film.
Well, he's good in that.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about it. The Conjuring. You want to get into it? Let's conjure up an episode for these guys.
Yeah, we haven't done it yet, so let's go for it. Let's do it. Do
you want to do it?
Yeah, we're gonna conjure.
Listen, we start right away, spooky logos, and that's what I'm looking for from a horror film. Make your logos spooky. That's what I want.
Starts with some cool music, some retro titles. I remember being into it in the theater. I just liked that whole idea.
It opens on Annabelle, which is kind of amazing considering she has her own franchise now. And
sure does.
Here's what I think. I think they're trying right from the bat to start a Conjuring universe.
I mean, you could be right. I think. How do we answer that? I don't. Do you know that for a fact?
No, I think they don't maybe have universe like that word quite in mind yet. That didn't really become in vogue for another couple of years. But
yeah.
I do think like the fact that you're doing a cold open with Annabelle, which you're clearly setting up for a future movie. You set up that room with like all their shit in it, and you're like, these are all stories we can tell.
Yeah.
The movie ends with them saying, "Oh, we just got a new case." Oh, it's just like the end of fucking Batman Begins, where it's like, "We got a new menace. He left this," and it's a Joker card. In this one, they're like, "I just got a call. It seems like something horrific is happening in a town called Amityville."
Yeah, it's not quite that literal, but that's what we figure out. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, you're right. I mean, and truth be told, it is a fucking great idea for to have in your first film a room full of objects of the supernatural where you could justify any one of those objects having some sort of story behind them.
But like, if this was like, this is the kind of thing that used to just be a TV show.
Yeah, but you were talking about this last week with RoboCop and how they unsuccessfully did it with that, where they would lead you to believe you're going to be seeing something in the next one and then it never happens. But this one actually does it, right?
I know, but like, why isn't this just a show? It's like two paranormal investigators doing a different mystery every time.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's true. You could actually have a show called The Warren Files. But, they're not going to make as much money on that. Remember, movies used to be a thing.
I just got a push notification that Trump has left the hospital, so here's hoping we will get our first sitting president to die in the White House.
That'd be amazing.
Incredible.
He wouldn't be the first one to die in the White House, but I get your sentiment.
What? Who died in the White House?
James Garfield.
The fuck are you talking about?
He was assassinated and brought back to the White House and passed away there a few months later.
Was it a Monday?
It was New Release Tuesday.
I was just gonna, because Garfield hates Mondays,
Oh boy!
Did President Garfield make any alliances or
he had
treaties with Abu Dhabi?
His top advisor's name was Odie Winthrop.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was kind of yellow though, if you know what I mean.
That's good. Was his first lady's name Nirmal?
I think it was Lucretia.
Was it actually Lucretia?
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Oh, Henry. All right. So we get that cold open with Annabelle. Annabelle's spooky looking, huh?
Nah, she is. It's a spooky doll.
Yeah.
I like the flickering film because we find out we're really watching like an old footage film of the Warrens doing a case.
Well, we see them in a classroom, right? Don't they?
That's right.
Now, what is this class they're teaching?
I would love to know that. I was thinking the same thing when I was watching it.
Are these students paying to attend this bullshit?
I mean, now wait a minute. Be honest. Be honest. When you went to Hunter, okay, I went to Pitt. If I heard there were going to be two demonologists in a lecture hall, I'd fucking be over there in a second.
I would not. I would say, why is my school employing these two charlatans?
They're not employing them. They're just guest lecturing there.
I don't believe they are guest lecturing there. We see them in multiple classes.
Yeah, but I don't think that's their profession. Their profession is demonologists.
I believe that they are demonologists who have a class in this. I mean, where are they teaching? Where do they live, the Warrens?
That's a good question. Well, this takes place in Rhode Island, so I think they live in Massachusetts or something like that. They're at Harvard. They're Harvard faculty.
Yeah, they're fucking teaching demonology classes at fucking Harvard. No, it's got to be BU.
Yeah, they're not faculty, man.
They are.
I never got that impression. We don't see an office or a desk. They're just showing up, and then the way that students talk to them.
Excuse me, we don't see an office or a desk. Let me ask you a question. Indiana Jones was an archaeologist. Was he also a professor at that college?
Correct.
That is what these people are doing.
I disagree.
And these students are so fucking in love with Patrick Wilson. I thought one of them was going to have I love you written on her fucking eyelids.
Oh, I had so much fun going to that class. You're crazy. If you and me were in college together, I'd fucking make you go to that class, and you'd love it.
I would rip on them, though.
Well, yeah. What do you think? I'd go there with my Bible and take it seriously?
They're liars. Listen, either these two people are liars or they genuinely believe this shit and they're that fucking stupid.
I think that probably they're crazy.
There's one scene.
They're crazy.
There's one scene in this movie.
They're real life people. I mean, yeah.
Oh, yeah, but the characters as they're portrayed in the film as well. I mean, the fact that this movie opens, or no, it closes with a scrawl saying like, What was it that? No. Was it at the opening when it said they have so many spooky stories and they're gonna share one that is so fucking spooky they've never shared it before. That is such bullshit, man. If this is your spookiest story, that's the only one you're ever gonna tell people.
Yeah. Well, that's the best part of shit bullshit like this is that when it's like based quote unquote on true events. I love that shit, and I love it especially when it's not like one incident and it's like, oh, we've got hundreds. This happens
I
to us all the time.
Well, they're ghost hunters, I guess, but like I
Yeah,
hate
no,
that is my least favorite genre of film, dude. True ghost stories because
great.
first of all, I don't believe in anything.
Neither do
Let's
I.
get that out right off the bat. I believe in nothing. There has never been a ghost. There are no demons. There is no afterlife. You're full of
Okay.
fucking shit.
I agree.
Things have
Obviously.
happened to me in my life that I can't explain. And do you know why I can't explain them?
What's that?
I just, I'm
Couldn't
not
explain
smart
it.
enough. I didn't do the research. I don't have video footage of what happened.
Oh my god, dude! Do you ever? I'm sure this has happened to you many times. Do you ever talk to some people and they'll tell you they're convinced that that one time.
Yeah. You ever have an encounter? They
Oh
want.
my
I've had
god,
this on like dates.
I have too. Like, oh, I don't know. The door just. All I know is it wasn't ajar when I left, and when I came home, it was.
My grandfather died, and then there was a light on my wall for months, and there was no
Yep,
source to this light. We looked
that's
for it,
all the
and
time,
I'm
dude.
like, "Did you check like the marble that rolled under your
Yeah.
bed?" Like,
Right. Glimmering surfaces, reflective. Uh, Yeah, and I don't mean, look, I'm sure we have listeners out there who do
yeah, and
think
you're all dumb.
such a dick. Hey guys, you can always count on me to be empathetic towards you. However, you should question your own ghost encounters because they're probably not really true, but I don't want to break any
Guys,
hearts of
everybody
people.
having seances out there, guys? Burning sage?
It's amazing to me how many people are like, I mean, this isn't something you just, this isn't something you just fucking see on fucking TLC. I've met many people like this. Oh, I know my grandmother's here, she's that little sparrow on the windowsill. It's like, all right, if,
Well,
if it makes,
it is the craziest thing to me. Anytime, like the fact that like the Vatican said they're like praying for Trump, I'm like, why? Like for what?
be grateful doesn't mean anything.
He's never been to church.
Doesn't mean anything anyway.
None of it means anything. Like, okay, thanks, rich people. You're gonna like look at the sky and think of Donald Trump. Great way to spend your day.
It's wishing it were so. That's praying.
Anyway, but the scene in this movie that was made for me was like, I don't think I could watch these movies if this scene never happened.
Oh, all right.
The scene where they go to like investigate a haunting and they're like, yeah,
Yeah,
it's nothing. It's just
yeah,
like a
that was
pipe.
good. Yeah. I
I
mean, you have
truly,
to, if
I
you're going to
truly
enjoy,
require that. Like,
yeah,
I need to know
I
that
agree.
they at least understand the characters in this movie, if not the real people,
Right.
understand that the vast majority of this shit is just explainable.
Or all of it. Yeah, yeah. I think that it's impossible to watch the movie if you cannot suspend your disbelief and at least have an entryway into the way
No,
these two people think, and that's written well.
yes,
And that's because in real life, I was reading about these two Looney Tunes afterwards because oh my god, it's fucking great stuff. But like, in terms of the movie, I agree with you. That seems pretty pivotal. It's still fucking absurd because then, I mean, the logic is absurd, but it's a good scene because it almost makes you like in as a viewer on their side, like, oh yeah, see, look at those fools, just a drafty house.
yeah,
You know?
but you're also it's also a weird placement for that scene because we've already spent a ton of time with the family in the house and we're seeing like actual weird shit happening.
Well, that's true. It happens like a good way in.
And so then when like Lily Taylor just face stained with tears as always when she encounters Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga outside of their class. You know, when after the bell rang and like they filed out. That she when she's trying to get them to like come over, and Patrick Wilson's like, truly, I'm fucking hungry, lady. Like, leave us alone. I want to eat dinner.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you're like not on board with him. Like, you want them to go help out this lady.
Right. Yes, it's true. And his real reasons for that is what it's because he doesn't want his wife to get involved in another bad experience.
Yeah, because I guess their most recent case, she was possessed by a demon during the exorcism. That definitely happened.
I think it did. I think it did for sure. I got something in my eye. Sorry, it's burning.
Holy shit, bro! Is this like some sort of demonic force? Like you're being a skeptic right now?
It's the ghost of Sheeplint.
You know what I was thinking about was the X-Files. And how you need...
Yeah, how do you deal with that as
you
a
need
viewer?
Scully.
Yeah.
If it was two fucking Mulders, it'd be unwatchable.
Right. Yeah. There aren't a great deal of skeptics in this movie. I mean, you really don't. I mean, the family believes pretty quick. You get basically the only real person who... Jesus, what did I get in my eye?
They should have had one of their like helper guys be a skeptic. Like, I'm just doing this for fucking college credit or whatever.
Well, the cop is the skeptic, but he's not. They don't do much
Who's the
with
cop?
him.
I don't even remember this character.
They just inexplicably are able to recruit a local Rhode Island cop. Don't you remember the cop? And
is he a fat guy?
No,
I'm thinking of another movie I watched.
He's a real state trooper looking guy with like the cop mustache and all that shit. He gets some phenomenon happen to him, and he has like a little jousting, jocular relationship with the crew guy, their loyal crewman. You don't remember him at all?
Not really. Should we set up the cast? Let's talk about the family.
All right. Got one of your heroes in there.
What, Ron Livingston?
No. Joey King.
Oh, she's one of my heroes?
I don't know, man.
Listen,
I love Ron Livingston, but this viewing on this movie, I have to say, I got to say, of the people in the movie, either they underwrote him or I don't know. He's just kind of a blah.
He's just a dad, man. I thought he was fine. I've been following Ron Livingston's career for a weirdly long time. Like,
me too. 24 years for me. I mean,
since Swingers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Office Space, of course. But yeah, I don't know. When I was younger, people used to tell me I look like him sometimes. And it made me want to watch his stuff more.
I don't see that, but all right.
I don't really either. But I've liked what he's been doing in recent years. He was great in Search Party, which is worth watching, and you know, he killed himself on that ABC show. Have you seen the ads for that ABC show where he killed himself?
Animal Husbandry?
What is that?
I don't know. I just made it up.
Animal Husbandry was the original title of the Ashley Judd film, Someone Like You. That's some fun trivia for you.
That's right. I remember that. That's the name of the book that masterpiece is based on. No, I like Ron Livingston a lot. I'm just, you know what? He's just sort of, he literally in this movie he does nothing. He's just like the most ineffectual kind of...
He's a supportive dad. Lily Taylor is the character we're following through this.
I'm aware of that, but you could go back to Poltergeist and you have Craig T. Nelson and Jo Beth Williams, and that is like a much bigger presence of an actor right there for a role like this.
I don't think it's doing the same thing.
Well, Lily Taylor is phenomenal in this movie. I think she's really good in this movie. And she reminds me of how also she can play like lots of different types of roles, you know, like she can be a fucking vampire. She can be innocent. She can be mischievous. And she's very like matronly in this, but she's still very beautiful, quite sexy.
Lily Taylor, sexy?
I've always thought Lily Taylor was sexy.
Really? You need to have your dick looked at.
Well, maybe you gotta get off the blah train and start looking at people who are unusual looking.
I do constantly. She's just like sad all the time. Like she just is a bummer.
She's earthen.
I don't think I've ever seen her smile except through tears.
She's earthen.
I thought it was actually a really brave move of her to accept this role. And I'll tell you why, Henry. Because
Okay.
she did this role already and it didn't go so well for her.
Oh, and which one? What?
The Haunting, bro.
Oh, right.
She was possessed by a spooky house in that movie.
That's right. That's old John DeBont, isn't
That's
it?
right, Jan de Bont, the great
Ah,
director of Speed 2 Cruise Control and
yeah,
Lara
yeah,
Croft
yeah,
Tomb Raider, The Cradle of Life.
yeah, 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 yeah,
We've
yeah, yeah.
covered him many
I,
times.
I'm a little surprised at your Lily Taylor physicality, anti-physicality
It's
thing
nothing.
there.
I love Lily Taylor. She's a great actress. I think she's a worthwhile presence in movie history. She was
Yeah.
absolutely crucial in the very important indie wave of the 90s.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, I'm looking back at her right now. She worked a ton with Abel Ferrara, and she was in
What's the vampire movie she did with him? It's great.
The Addiction.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then there was Girls Town, and I Shot Andy Warhol, and Pecker, and I mean High Fidelity, great stuff. She just fucking worked and was always working with great filmmakers. Showed up on 6 Feet Under, if you remember that, but
Oh, I sure do. Yeah.
just always so sad.
All right. Well, maybe I like melancholy ladies.
Maybe, man. Sometimes I want her to just be like, bro, has she ever done a comedy?
High fidelity.
But even in High Fidelity, she's like
So
Rob
sad.
is like, I had that one girlfriend who would cry all the time.
You want her to do something goofy.
Not goofy necessarily. Like, I feel like Lily Taylor could probably do like a decent job in like a rom com. Maybe not now; she's too old for it, I guess. But like in the
I think she's
'90s,
great. I think she'd be great in something like that. I could see her doing a real out of character type thing and being in like a Judd Apatow film.
yeah, she could take some of these roles. Like Parker Posey takes every fucking
Yes.
role. Can't she? Can't Parker Posey give Lily Taylor like a quarter of her roles?
Be nice. I mean, look out for each other.
Yeah. I wonder if there's any feud between them
I don't
as
know.
indie darlings of the '90s.
Right. The Parker Taylor feud.
Yeah. All right. So there's her and Ron Livingston. Did you recognize any of the kids besides now four-time franchise attendee Joey King?
I recognize some of the names, but haven't we done Mackenzie Foy?
Listen, she's very important, and we will cover her again someday. Now, Mackenzie Foy, she's the actress who was banging her head against the wall, sleepwalking.
Right.
All right. Now, you don't know this yet, but she is Bella's daughter, Renesmee, in the Twilight films.
Okay.
All
Very
right.
nice.
Now, of course, my favorite another one of the big laughs I've gotten in movie history was in Twilight. I believe Breaking Dawn Part 1, where she gets pregnant. They say, "What are you going to name the baby?" And she still hasn't chosen between Edward and Jacob.
Right.
Yeah.
I actually knew that. No, I knew that.
So one of their moms was Renee, and one of their moms was Esme, and so she says, "So I was thinking, Renesmee." And the second she said that, I never stopped laughing for a year. I lost my fucking mind. So she's Renesmee, and she's also important because the one that Bella doesn't choose imprints upon her and as a baby and decides that when you are no longer a baby, you will be my wife.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm looking forward to the Twilight movies. I've never seen any of them.
We've got to cover those.
No, I would
First
like to.
quarter 2021.
First quarter.
First quarter, gang. All right,
That's the
so
first
she's
quarter.
Renesmee. I don't know any of these other jokesters, but they're all fine. I didn't think any of the little actresses were bad.
No, they weren't, and that's refreshing. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
nice. I mean, honestly, it was nice to see they all have lines.
Yeah, they had to create, by the way, 5 characters to play
Yeah, I
these
know.
kids. I think 4 of them are actual characters. And then there's like one who's like there.
Yeah, one little teeny one. Yeah, I mean that's
No,
a
not
lot.
the teeny one. The teeny one had a character because she was like talking to Rory and shit.
Oh, that's right. Good point. Who
Yeah.
are you?
Okay, so there's the blonde one, the little one who's talking to Rory.
Yeah.
There's Renesmee banging her head against the wall. There's
Okay.
Joey King, like 5 years away from being the hottest actress in the world. There's, I mean, in terms of buzz, Henry.
I didn't say anything.
I might be backtracking. All right. Then the 4th one, that's who we don't know. She's just like some lady.
You know what? Kudos to you, man, because
right.
I honestly couldn't distinguish any of them except Joey King, just because I would just watched her.
Yeah. So there's a rando, and then the oldest one, who briefly we see hitting on one of the guys.
That's right. That's right. She's into the EVP user. Yes.
AVP?
EVP.
Oh. What's
little
that?
Machine. That's like a little machine wand they use to hear ghost sounds.
They're looking for like signs of plasma. What are they calling Ghostbusters? Ectoplasm.
A PKG meter.
Right. That's basically
so
what
much
it is.
better. So much better than that. But yeah.
Okay, so that's the family. They got to help this family. Then there's also, by the way, they have a daughter, the Warrens. So like Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson, and she's not bad either.
She's not. Everybody in the movie's pretty good act. I mean, I would expect such a thing. I would hope they would be. I mean, it's a $20 million.
I would not expect that you have a movie with 6 adolescent girls in the lead. I would assume a couple of them would be bad.
Well, yes, sure, but I mean, no, you're right. I guess the money really wouldn't matter because you can't pay for that. Sometimes it's just going to be bad. But no, none of them are distracting. And there's enough adult time.
Joey King's always a little distracting.
Yeah, it's just a kid actor.
What's happening? You stuffed up over there?
I got something in my eyeball, but I didn't want to stop the show.
No, I know. It's been happening for the last like 20 minutes.
Yeah, well, that's because I didn't stop the show to go flush it out, which I probably should have. So if I do go blind in this left eye, not my other left.
I once had a fly into my eye, Henry.
Really? Ooh.
And I couldn't find it. Like my eye hurt and I could not locate this fly. And then like a week later, I was in PAL basketball, all right?
Okay.
That's Little League basketball.
Thank you.
And it's the police something league. So
Sure.
I was playing in this game, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh my God, I think it's coming. And so I asked to be taken out of the game. It was in a school, so I went to the nurse's office by myself, and I used a fucking tweezer, and I never knew what happened to the whole fly, but it was a fully formed fly wing that had been on my eyeball for over a week.
That's the most disgusting thing you've ever said. And
yeah, well, it's spooky.
Oh, dude.
Spookiest month of the year.
My God, that's grotesque.
What are some of the scariest things that have ever happened to you?
Paint. I'm thinking that's the worst thing that happened to my eye. I was painting, and paint went in my eye. I thought I was going to lose my sight. It was insane. You ever gotten paint in your eye, man?
No, as you know, I'm not one to do tasks like that.
No, you're not. You're not. And I'm not like a big fan of tasks like that, but that I can do them. We knew that when we lived together. If there was something like of that nature, I would tend to grudgingly be like, all right, I can see if I can take a hand at that. You know.
I don't know that that's fully true.
I think that that's fully true. If there was a leaky faucet or if there was something that needed to be, adjusted.
Yeah, but as we established off air, I don't use the kitchen.
Well, fair point on that. But, there are still appliances that need tending to.
You making tea over there?
If something needs to be sanded, I can do it. I can sand something if something needs to be sanded.
I couldn't do that. I could solder.
Okay, I don't know how to solder.
There you go. I had to do that at a
I
job once.
I can change my oil in my car.
Ooh, I don't even know how to drive.
I know you don't. You're an infant, but I can change a tire. You know,
That's wild. Do you know how to use a lug nut?
I sure
Do you know
do.
how to use a jack?
Yeah, I do. Yeah,
That's wild. Henry, what are
it's
some of
great.
your favorite spooky things that happened to this family?
Well, I mean, here's the thing about this movie that's interesting to me. Uh, what a banal statement that is. You know, it's not particularly throughout the movie that scary or creative. I feel like it does reach sort of an an apex of moments, and then it just sort of becomes like a mishmash of Poltergeist and The Exorcist. And I remember thinking that when I first saw it in theaters, and I kind of still think it now, although it's still very very good. And I mean, in terms of the scary spooky moments, I thought the Lily Taylor being thrown down the basement and then like dealing with the matches in the dark and the clapping hands, that's pretty freaky. And some of the shots like that are very
Yeah,
very well
things
done.
showing up. There's a lot of things appearing in the background places.
Those are the better things. Like I think like with the sequence when the daughter looks up on uh the wardrobe and sees an actual woman on there, like that didn't get me.
I
Just because it was just
I
too
was
much.
I
It's
got
too much.
spooked. I think I got spooked when nothing was actually there. Like that
I
scene
agree.
where the little girl, was it Joey King, that was like something's behind that door.
Yes, 100%. I'm
That
with you.
scene's creepy, man.
I agree. I agree.
And
Yeah,
that's
that
something
that
we've all had. Have you ever had like sleep paralysis and you think someone's in the room?
no, but I've been reading a lot about that. This seems to be like a new phenom not phenomena, but new interest in this. They're making like documentaries
Well,
and
I
movies.
think it happens to more people than you'd think. Like it's
No,
only
I'm
happened to
sure.
me like a couple times in my life. Like,
Are
but
you
it
sure it
has
was
happened.
happening to you though? Really?
Yeah, because I'm like I can't move. There's like someone right there, and it goes
Wow.
on for a little while.
Boy,
I had an ex girlfriend that it would happen to pretty regularly, and it was
that's
scary.
fucked up.
Yeah.
Wow. But yeah, those are the moments I think that work better. I feel like any in this movie, I don't think that I don't want to make that sound like that's my rule. I'm not going to say do the trope where everyone's like, well, it's better what you don't see than what it is you do see. It's just, but in this movie, that just works
Have you
better.
ever seen Jaws, Henry?
Jaws, in Moonraker, he
That's
was
a
good.
oh no, I'm not referring to that. You know the guy that made Ready Player One?
That's that Jewish fella.
Yeah, that
Um,
that fucking Jew. He also made some Jewish movie. You know what I'm talking about? That Jewish movie Hook.
oh, that's really anti-Semitic. Are you saying like Hook Nose? Is that what you're doing? That's really anti-Semitic, dude. Yeah.
I would never that I wouldn't have even thought
It's
of that.
really, really bad stuff
Listen, I
right
was gonna do a whole bit about how people say how Jaws, like there's nothing like it's
there. I know you were. Yeah.
okay. You knew the bit I was doing, but see, I
Yeah.
was just trying to think of a random shitty Spielberg movie, and I brought up Hook, and all of a
Mm.
sudden you're calling me a fucking Shylock.
That's not what I was saying.
Is The Merchant of
Uh,
Venice your favorite Shakespeare play?
oh God, I have more Jewish heroes than you do. You have none.
That's not true.
Who do you like? Judd Apatow. My favorite writers are Jewish. Philip Roth is like the guiding light of my life.
All my heroes are Jewish. Woody Allen,
Bullshit.
Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah. Stanley Kubrick for me. Philip Roth, Franz Kafka, Mahler.
Mahler's Jewish.
Yeah. You shouldn't be around some Jewish people and say that you don't know Mahler's Jewish. That's important to know. Take that home with you.
Oh, I'm so glad that you're lecturing me on how to properly be Jewish. Thank
I
you.
am, because you have lectured me. You have lectured me on implying I do not understand any Jewish culture before, and it's
Yeah,
rather
well, that's
laughable.
okay
Rather
because
laughable.
you're not Jewish.
Like,
I've never accused you of not knowing anything about Italian or Irish bullshit.
Red. There's a lot I don't know. You
You
could tell me, and
fucking
I'd be like, all right.
Philistines. Why don't you go put some fucking red sauce on a potato, you piece of shit?
Red sauce on a potato. Oh, you're mixing my my nationalities. I see
That's
what
right.
you're doing. It's good. Yeah. All right. Yeah. No, please virtue signal me some more. I appreciate it.
How is that virtue signaling? It's my own culture.
I'm kidding with you because you've done that before, where you've like you've flipped the tables on me about certain things culturally, as if I'm not already fully aware of these things.
I don't think you are.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I have a lot
I'm
of
sure.
questions about you, Henry, and
It's
I don't want to
done.
get into them right now. What else
Yeah,
you want to talk about with this movie?
we barely even talked about
There's
it.
like a spooky tree. That was all right.
See, that's the stuff though that I just don't know if it works. You know,
I know.
like
Listen, the movie's a slow burn, and it is too long. And I do appreciate the slow burn of it because it reminds me it has more of a British kind of pacing to it, that like British ghost story kind of a thing. And I appreciate that on one level, and it made a lot of sense to put the next one in England to capitalize on that a little bit. I feel like telling that story in this universe made a lot more sense.
yeah,
Where
yeah.
this one though is like a pretty regular, degular like house
It is,
possession
and you know,
movie.
I don't recall that I thought that at the time, but it really is. It is quite regular. It's just superbly directed. It's very beautiful looking. The music's great, and the acting is great. It's just the actual story itself
It's a
of
hell
the
of a
house is not that
product.
interesting.
It's a hell of a product they put
Yeah,
together.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
got a cast of it's got an Academy Award nominee, maybe a couple of them. They like really built it out. They're treating the characters like they're actual people. It looks like $1 million. The sets are great. Like everything's
Yes.
immaculately designed.
It's very immersive. You really get out in the woods with this house. You're very like location centered. You don't
Yeah,
ever for a second feel like you're on a set.
and James Wan nails it. We really get a sense of the geography of the house. We
Yeah,
know
yeah,
where we
true.
are at all times.
That,
It's really really well done. And I see on Letterboxd that when I saw this movie, I gave it a 4,
so did I.
and that to me it feels like the product of someone who just watched a very well made movie and didn't really think about it at all.
Yeah.
Because this movie is a solid 3. You know what the problem with this movie is, and I hate to say it, but it's a 3.5.
Ooh, I that's not allowed, I thought.
No, it's not allowed. So you have to decide, and I do think I'm gonna
Ah,
err to 3 here, and
are you?
yeah, and part of that might be that I have a feeling I'm gonna give Conjuring 2 a 4. I remember them being equals to each other, and now having rewatched this first Conjuring movie, I think I conflated them in my head a lot, and a lot of
Hmm.
the shit that I actually was impressed with is in The
Yeah.
Conjuring 2.
Well, I that'll be interesting for me too because I remember thinking I liked The Conjuring 2 more. But I believe I gave them both 4 stars. Because of our no halvesies rule. But I think I am going to go with 4 stars. Because I think it's better than an average movie. I mean, I think that's a little bit a tad of a slight. I mean, because
But I
problem.
just think that this isn't a really average movie, just like built up and blown up.
I mean, but you know, for me, then that would be like a 2 from the way you sort of describe it. I mean, I don't know. I mean, there's just certain things I think it is too long, and there are certain things in the editing that are just bizarre. Where, like I said, some of the scares are superb, but then there are these weird decisions to show things graphically, and then at the end when Lily Taylor just goes nuts and is like falling through floors and running, it's still good, but it ceases to be scary. It really becomes more of like almost this chase movie. But I just think it is very high tier. I mean, I do not think this is like an average 3 star
No,
movie.
no, it's good. It's definitely better than most 3-star movies we've done. I just don't think it's a 4 because I never was grabbed. I was never really a part of what was happening. It happens so fast where like at first like they're just It's one of those movies where you just want them to leave like 100 times, and then they get like the Warrens to come over, and they hang out for like one night, and then they like take them out for breakfast, and then while they're out at breakfast, Lily Taylor gets possessed, and then that night she like attacks everybody. Like that's the movie.
Yeah, I mean, I think that my thing was definitely the main thing for me, though. That's for me from keeping it to a five. Is that the story itself is just not it, like you said, regular. It's really just kind of not that original in the story itself. Like we're actually talking about Salem witches,
Oh
and
my god, the fact that they
like
made
that's
this,
kind of
it's so ridiculous. Like
yeah.
it's one ghost as it turns out, and she's like an ex Salem witch who like like killed her son, and the son is the it has like made
Well,
friends with the little girl. It's
well, but
like
it's
it's like
multiple
the fucking
ghosts.
boy.
Yeah, right. You're right. Well, it's multiple ghosts. That's the thing. Like she's
Is
the
it?
originator. No, it is because she's the originator of it. And then they explain in the 18 something something happened, and then in the 1930s something happens. So when we see that fat woman, that's the 1930s ghost. And then before that, we see another ghost, and then the boy's another ghost. So it's kind of just not that original. And once they've kind of shown like the body hanging from the tree and the woman on the
Yeah,
wardrobe.
right.
I mean, it's just kind of like, all right. You've kind of used your scare quotient up, and I think they use it up too early,
I just
to be
watched that
honest.
Kevin Bacon movie, the You Should Have Left.
If I would have watched that, you would have given me endless shit.
I'm amazed you haven't watched that.
It looks bad. It doesn't look like interesting
It
to me.
looks like everything you watch. Um,
That's
and I gave it a 2, but I do think like it did more with the subject of a haunted house in this movie. I really do feel like this movie feels like a pilot. And the pilot, I'm sorry, is just like the not the best episode of the show ever.
hmm. Yeah.
Except Glee.
I don't know. Yeah, I would have.
Alright, we have to wrap up because Skype is being a cunt.